Godspeed to the city streets.
The clock on the wall struck 7 p.m., but the lights in Jungkook's office burned brightly. Jungkook, one of the most successful CEO of the Korea, leaned over his boredom. He gave a sharp glare to all the employees and his manager, who were standing in front of him with their heads down. Jungkook, this is unacceptable, he said, throwing the folder on the floor. The employees flinched while the manager gasped. Manager, Mr. Jungkook, he stuttered in his shaky voice, but he was cut off by Jungkook, who motioned him to stop. Jungkook, I had asked for projections that made sense, not the fantasies from someone who doesn't even know the basic math. Do you think I run the empire by guessing? The manager gulped, looking downcast as no one had enough courage to answer him back. Jungkook, fix it right now. I want new reports on my desk by tomorrow morning. Dismissed. He said, his voice shaking in the eyes of his all workers present in the room. They all bowed at him and then dashed out the room. Jungkook threw himself on the chair, running a hand in his black hair. Before he could get second breath, his mobile phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and sighed. It was his grandfather, the founder of Jeon Company. He thought for a while and then picked up the call. Jungkook, hey grandfather. He greeted him in his usual exhausted tone. Grandfather, Cookie, are you free for dinner tonight? He asked. Jungkook, dinner for what? He asked, his brown eyebrows frowned. Grandfather, it is a good news, he said excitedly. Jungkook, good news? As far as I remember, I don't think so I ever heard a good news from you, he said, making the oldie chuckle. Grandfather, oh my son, don't say like this. This time it is really a good news. You know what, son? I have found a suitable match for you, he added. Jungkook, what? He said in a disbelief as he stood up from his chair. Grandfather, yes, my son, you heard it right. Come by 8 o'clock, otherwise you will face my anger, he said in a stern tone and cut the call before Jungkook could make any excuse. Jungkook rubbed his temple in frustration and an idea came in his mind. He quickly picked up the mobile phone and dialed his personal secretary's number. Jungkook, I need all the information about the girl my grandfather called for a dinner, he said to his secretary. Secretary, don't worry, boss. I will be back to you within an hour, having all the information of that girl, he said respectfully. Jungkook nodded and cut the call. Jungkook, no grandfather, I won't marry, he murmured to himself. On the other hand, Ryan, Miss Daisy, please check the measurements again. I won't afford any kind of complaint from my client, you said to one of the workers who nodded her head, taking the cone back to check the measurements. You were a fashion designer by profession. Having your own boutique was a dream, which came with endless late nights and proper attention to detail. As you were standing there, helping your designer with the detailing, your mobile phone rang on the nearby counter. Ryan, let's have a small break, you said to her, and she stopped. You walked to the nearby counter while humming a song. Grabbing the phone, you glanced at the caller ID and a smile tugged on your lips. As you swiped to answer, it was your dad. Ryan, hey dad, what's up? You asked warmly. Dad, I am fine, princess. Actually, I need you to meet someone this evening, he said. Ryan, whom, dad? You asked, your hands moving on the fabric which was placed on the counter. Dad, do you remember about Mr. Jeon? He asked. Ryan, of course, dad, I do. He's your best friend. You replied. Dad, yeah, actually, his dad called me today and he said that he wanted to meet you this evening at 8 o'clock, he said. Ryan, what? Why he wants to meet me, Dad? You asked, leaning against the counter, twirling a thread of loose fabric between your fingers. Dad, he didn't say much, just that he wanted to discuss anything with you, he replied. Ryan, okay, Dad, I will see him this evening, you said, and with that your dad cut the call. Back at Jungkook's cabin, the door to his cabin knocked and Jungkook's personal secretary stepped in. Jungkook, what is the news? He asked curiously. Dylan, Boss, according to resources, the girl is clean from head to toe. Her name is Lee Wyan. She is 20 years old and by profession, she is a successful fashion designer. Sorry, boss, but I couldn't find the information about the girl that could change the mind of your grandfather. Hence, it proves she is the right woman for you. He said hesitantly. Jungkook shoot him a stare, which made Thailand gulp. Jungkook, no, no, she is an adult. She must have any past or any other secret, he asked, frowning. Dylan, no boss, she has no. She has been a topper throughout her academic years. She has also a clean police record. She never did a single large disobedience. He said, letting out a sigh. Jungkook, what kind of person she is, hmm? It's like she is living a perfect life like a good citizen. Check her record again, Mr. Dylan, cause I wonder she is a saint. He sarcastically chuckled, looking out through the glass window. Dylan, I'm sorry, boss, but she is innocent, he said in a matter of fact tone. Jungkook bit his thumb in frustration. He knew that proving you wrong in front of his grandfather was not going to be an easy task. Jungkook, okay, fine, you go. I will try to work on the matter, he said, throwing himself on the chair. Dylan nodded and left the cabin. Jungkook took a deep breath. He pinched the bridge of his nose and started to think of any solid plan to get rid of this problem which his grandfather created for him. Time skip. In the evening, 8 o'clock, the huge living room was decorated beautifully. There were a lot of colorful flowers scattered around the threshold to give you a welcome. An old man, Jungkook's grandfather, was sitting on the leather sofa. Grandfather, Mia, he called the head maid who ran to him. Mia, yes, master. She bowed at him. Grandfather, is the dinner ready? He asked to her. Mia, yes, master, everything is ready. We will set the table once you give us a bare hint, she said, making him nod. Grandfather, okay, you can leave now, he commanded, and with that, Mia rushed to the kitchen. After some time, the grandfather was reading the newspaper when he heard a familiar voice from the behind. A smile tugged on his lips as he placed the paper on the table. Jungkook, good evening, he said in his usual husky voice. The grandfather turned around and his eyes widened, seeing his nephew in the white t-shirt. This was his first time seeing Jungkook wearing this kind of outfit. Grandfather, what are you doing? He said, glaring at him. Jungkook smirked internally, plopping down on the couch. Jungkook, oh come on, grandfather, this is a new fashion. I just wanted to impress. He faked smile at his grandfather, who gritted his teeth. Grandfather, by wearing an outfit like this, you are not gonna impress him, he scolded. Jungkook in mind. That's what I want. Jungkook, come on, Grandpa. He shrugged while hanging his arms behind the sofa. Grandfather, this is your plan. I know. You want her to cancel this marriage? He said. Jungkook, relax, Grandpa. Don't you increase your blood pressure. Have some mercy over your age, he said, and old man glared at him. Grandfather, keep this in mind. Whatever you are planning is not gonna work. You are going to get married to Ryan, he said sternly. Jungkook remained quiet and kept yawning. It was contrary to his nature, but he was doing the last attempt to get rid of this unwelcomed problem. Suddenly he heard a soft thumbs of someone entering the living room. He turned around to look at you. Jungkook's eyes widened while Jalan dropped as soon as his eyes fell on you. Jungkook, wow. The words automatically slipped out. Jungkook's grandfather looked at you and smiled. Oh my beautiful daughter, he said. Wine, I'm sorry, Grandpa. Actually, I did not know the address. The was stuck in your mouth as your eyes fell on Jungkook. It was your first time seeing the most. Though you had heard a lot about him, but you could never see him, your dad had always motivated you by giving you an example of Jungkook, who had become the most successful businessman of the Korea in such a young age. In other words, he was like your idol, as you always got a motivation by hearing about Jungkook's struggles by your dad. Who knew that businessman would be so beautiful? He was versatile, and you felt He was surely a perfect piece of an art, grandfather Ryan dear. Meet my nephew Jungkook and Jungkook, this is Lee Ryan. He said, introducing you both with each other. You bowed at Jungkook while Jungkook's eyes fell on you. As a fashion designer, you always wore outfits and you had no problem seeing Jungkook like that as long as he was looking good. Grandfather, come Ryan, take a seat. We need to discuss something. He said, sitting on the sofa. You smiled and thanked his grandfather before taking a seat. Grandfather, Ryan dear, I called you here to talk about the marriage. I want you to marry my grandson Jungkook. He said, smiling at you. You frowned and looked at his grandpa in a disbelief. It felt like you were not able to believe in your ears as you blinked at him. Ryan, marriage? Jungkook could already imagine what is going in your mind. Jungkook, imagination. Oh my god, marriage? Oh my, I'm gonna marry to Jungkook. This is so good. Future gonna be okay because he's a millionaire. He imagines coughing. Grandfather. Yes, dear, marriage, he exclaimed. You didn't get why all of a sudden his grandfather wanted you to marry him. It was true that you liked Jungkook, but that didn't mean that you will get ready to marry. You needed some time to think about it. Before you could refuse, Jungkook spoke out. Jungkook, Grandpa, she won't marry, not at all. He lied. Though he had you, but he didn't want to marry. That's right, no, he wanted to focus on his career. Grandfather, he stop lying. I know why are you saying like this? He said, making you frown. Jungkook, sorry grandpa, but she is not my type, you know. Why, excuse me, what do you mean by not your? You asked, raising your eyebrows at him. Jungkook, I can't tell you, it's a secret, he said. Though he was feeling so in doing all that, somehow he wanted you to reject him, grandfather. Hey, why you are pretending to be so wrong? It's not your nature, he said. Ryan, who said, I'm not gonna reject him, Grandpa. I accept marrying him, you said. Jungkook's eyes widened in a shock as he blinked at you in a disbelief. Jungkook, what? Ryan, you had it right. I don't need to repeat the same words you said and smirked. Ryan, is that so? But I didn't find anything bad. You replied. Grandfather in mind. Seems like she's lively. Oh my, he giggled to himself. Jungkook, hey, stop calling me Grandpa. I won't marry, he said, standing up from the sofa. Grandfather, if you won't marry Wine, then I will have no other choice but to give her all your inheritance, including company. Wine, what? You looked at the old man shocked. Jungkook frustratingly rubbed his palm and clenched his hands afterwards. Grandfather, I am serious, Jungkook. He full stopped, looking at his grandson, whose nose was flaring. Jungkook, no. It took me so many years to take the company to the heights of success. I won't let anyone get it so easily, he said, his neck veins popping out. Grandfather, well, I can do anything, son, and you know this. He said and laughed at him. You couldn't accept all that, so you spoke out. Why, no, Grandpa, if marrying him caused me to get all his property, then I ain't going to marry him. You said, Grandfather, what? First he didn't want to marry you and now you are refusing to marry him. See dear, it doesn't matter to me anymore. The property will be transferred to your name and that is final, he said getting up from the couch. Ryan, but you couldn't complete the sentence as he left from there, leaving you both to look at each other. Jungkook, hey look, see I did a lot of struggle to take the company to the position where it is now. I know how stubborn my grandfather is once he make decision. He doesn't even listen to himself, he said. Ryan, what? He said as he didn't want to hurt you. Jungkook, cause I don't find you attractive, he said, avoiding the eye contact. Wyan, what? I am a fashion designer and you are calling me unattractive, you said, glaring at him. Jung Wyan, you will marry me, mister? I know you won't let me gulp our property all alone. You cross your arms. Jungkook, so will you accept all the property? He asked, crunching his eyebrows. Wyan, who won't? You replied, making him look at you shocked. Jungkook, such a good girl you are. He gave you an annoying look. Wyan, say whatever you want, but I am not gonna refuse this offer. Jungkook, then we will make a contract, he said. Wyan, a contract? Jungkook, yeah, a contract. That after 3 months you will give me all of my inheritance, he said. Wyan, what are you kidding me? Here I'm gonna get all the property, and you want me to marry you and make a contract? Why I will do that when I am getting all the property free of cost? You ask, Jungkook, so you won't listen to me like this? He said, looking at you. Wyan in mind, how does he read my mind? You gulp, looking around. Jungkook, okay, I will give you what you want, he said. Your heartbeat raised as you stepped back. Jungkook, but before we will have a contract. Each party will not interfere in each other's matter. Party A will not disturb Party B. The Party B will have the right to get the property back. If the Party A wants divorce, each party will not enter into any other shame when they are married. The contract will be dismissed in case Party A finds the Party B not a good person. It will be a contract marriage, he said, making you scoff. Brian, why do you think I will vote you? You asked to him. Jungkook, it might be, he said. Your cheeks turned red. Ryan, let's see, you said, smiling at him. Jungkook, let's see together. He said and left. Jungkook in mind, this is what I want. After 2 weeks, the wedding day. You were sitting in front of the ornate mirror, makeup artist. Here you go, ma'am, she said. Finally, you looked at yourself in the mirror. Your mouth wide open as you didn't recognize yourself. Your hair was tied in a neat bun. The dress was designed by one of your designer. It was a delicate white gown. Ryan, thank you, you said to the makeup artist who smiled at you. After some time, you were taken to the hallway by your father. There you saw Jungkook standing on the stage looking at you. As you approached him, he looked at you from head to toe and a smile crept on his lips. Time skipped, the wedding ceremony was done, and you were taken to Jungkook's mansion. As you reached there, your mouth got awestruck because it was so beautiful, Jungkook. So here is your room. I'm downstairs. If you need something, call me Zoe, the head maid, saying that he left, making you scoff. After some time, the driver dropped off your bags and left. You were exhausted. After 10 minutes, you came back in your room. You were humming a song, but suddenly your breath hitched in a throat when you witnessed Jungkook. Ryan, hey, what are you doing here? You asked. Jungkook, this is my room and I can be somewhere, anywhere I want, he said, stepping inside the room. Ryan, but weren't it a contract marriage, Ryan? Jungkook, do you think so? He asked, making you flinch. Ryan, what do you mean? You asked. Jungkook, you will understand it sooner, he said, whitened as you looked at him. Ryan, what are you saying? Your pulse quickened. Ryan, then why did you stutter? Jungkook, only for you, he said, and the whole neighborhood woke up, including the animals and birds.